So super excited today to talk about the future of DeFi agents. DeFi is incredibly complex. You borderline need a background in finance to make any money on it and not get front-run by hedge funds. And so we think that AI agents are going to really democratize access to DeFi. So we have the perfect guests today. And just to kick things off, we're going to just go quickly in order. Introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about the project you're working on, and why you started the project. Start with Zero.
Okay. I'm Zero. I'm the co-founder of the DataTrade. And DataTrade is a decentralized trading bot. And help users to get the profits. Yeah.
Great.
It's great. Yeah.
Hey, I'm David, co-founder of Valerie. We're a co-contributor to Olas. Olas very much subscribes to what Cameron just said. We want to give everyone an autonomous AI agent so that people can outsource goals to agents they own and have them deal with the complexities of things like DeFi and other use cases.
Lukas, I'm one of the co-founders of the company called Almanak. We've started Almanak because first originally we saw how inefficient DeFi was and how it could use some data-driven intelligence, how those could improve the decisions being made within DeFi. And then at one point, we've realized that this is a perfect input for agents, which at that time became an idea for a vehicle that can help us navigate throughout DeFi. Because DeFi, in our opinion, grew too complex over time. It became fragmented and became chaotic. And at this point, we think that perhaps DeFi was never meant for humans. It was meant for agents all along.
Totally. And I think this is how, this is why people get into crypto, is honestly to make money. And so starting with Zero, can you tell us just a little bit more about DeltaTrade and the three strategies that you currently operate? And what about them are sort of well-positioned for agents to do?
Yeah, currently DeltaTrade have completed three votes. We call that grid, swing, and DCA. And DCA is very simple. It's let the user to fix the intervals to sell and buy your assets. Yeah, it's very simple. And but the grid and swing is very complex. I can't to explain it in one line.
Yeah. Who here, just as raise of hands, knows what dollar cost averaging is, when you're trading? Yeah. Okay, it's a good amount. But the vast majority of people don't really understand this. And so out of these three strategies, which is the most popular on the platform?
Usually it's very, very complex to understand what is the grid. But the grid and swing is really can help users to get more and more profits from the market, especially the bull market. Maybe you can choose say our website is DeltaTrade.ai. Yeah. We hope that let the user to use DeltaTrade for easier way. So what we want to do in the future is integrate the AI agent. Let the AI agent to let the user to use the AI-powered strategy. So user just want to say the high APY and choose the APY and to provide your assets, and then one click to create their bots, then waiting for the profit.
Awesome. And David, Olas there's a lot going on in the Olas ecosystem right now. You're building across many chains. You have a pretty amazing prediction market product. Can you tell everyone a bit more about the Olas framework and exactly what is being most adopted today?
Yeah. So what's the goal? We want to have you operate an agent that you can outsource one day arbitrarily complex goals to, and then that attain that for you. Today, they're very specific domains in which the agents are active in. So the most dominant use case is prediction markets. You can try this out yourself today on olas.network/operate. You can download an app called Pearl and then run your agent locally, which participates on your behalf in prediction markets 24/7. We want to bring that same concept to DeFi and in a cross-chain context, where you give the agent higher level goals expressed in natural language, and then leave it to the agents over long periods of time to execute those strategies. Why do we think that's important? Because to what Lukas was saying, there's very few people who will bother engaging with the complexity of DeFi. And if you really want to grow end user adoption, I think user-owned agent is one path. The other one is to basically provide some very centralized Robin Hood-like experience. And so we're very bullish on the agent piece, and like there's now daily active agents are going up every day. Yeah, I would leave it at that for that now.
And Lukas, your current target customer is a lot of institutions. Is that accurate? And so, but you guys are going to slowly start opening up more to retail. Can you tell us a bit more about kind of how the institutions are approaching, one, on-chain trading at all, and sort of what some of their, I guess, prerequisites are to start participating?
Yeah, so the reason we started with professionals and with institutions is that a lot of the Almanak's value proposition comes from the optimization we're offering. The fact that you can not only create an agent with us, it's about we call it strategy optimization suite we offer. And in that piece, we allow we fork essentially the blockchain. We create a testing environment where we then use agent-based modeling to mimic behavior of users and actors on chain. And this is a technology that's, well, a version of has been used in TradFi for some time, but exactly by hedge funds, by professionals. So people and institutions that were familiar with this, they were our first target for obviously reasons. They understand the value proposition, and they understood that within crypto, within DeFi, we don't have a tooling like this yet that would allow to optimize your strategies, that will allow to improve that decision intelligence. So this was a low-hanging fruit, and we also learned from them. We also saw how they are seeing the future of let's say on-chain asset management in crypto. So for example, the way Almanak works is that we are a non-custodial software, right? So ultimately, it's the customer, the institutional customer, that retains the full custody of their assets.
And has to sign their own transactions.
Precisely. This is important, and this is something that was a bit of novel. So we were, I would say, at the discovery stage with all the institutions, but we tailored the product towards that direction. And I think that, well, retail or like everyday users, in that regard, it will follow similar trajectory because of trust. So instead of giving all your net worth to one agent overnight, you will be gradually giving it permissions to do certain things. For example, execute a strategy you figured out yourself, also with the help of AI, because I think this is also important, is that ultimately we want users to formulate their own objectives, high-level strategies, right? They ultimately won't have to know all the details, but they need to understand the concept of risk.
Yeah, but people are really bad at knowing what they want generally.
That's true.
And so, like when we want to go talk to make some money and work with somebody to make money, like financial advisor, it's generally a conversation.
Yeah.
So, kind of, how do you see the interface between these users who really aren't that well aware of different strategies and these agents that are either executing many different strategies? It kind of feels like it needs to be a conversation. So how do you actually give them that interface where it kind of leads them to the thing that they need?
I think this is the easy part, honestly, because it has been solved for us, like the LLM adoption and the experience, the popularity of it's crazy, even across Web 2. How many of the apps across pretty much every vertical has its own LLM now? This becomes something that users get accustomed to, and I think over time it will be easier and easier for businesses to adopt a version of it to improve that interaction with the customer. So I think that will be the experience.
Do you think we might need a different modality though? Like messaging, chat is difficult for many.
Yeah.
So yeah, David, where do you, I guess, see the sort of future of AI agents and how users actually interact with them?
It's already multimodal. I think there's examples of autonomous AI agents that launch meme coins and have a persona which might be streaming on Twitch. There's projects doing that. I think coming back to your point, like chat will, I doubt chat will go away, but I do think we need, like, as a group of technologists, we're very captured in this idea of interactive experiences because that's what we all grew up with, like mobile apps where you click around, do things. The beauty with agents is that you can abstract a lot of this. So whilst chat is important, like being able to maybe describe a strategy, I don't think the large group of users will spend days and weeks interacting with the financial advisor. They'll be okay like giving it some sort of high-level goals, and then check back in with it maybe after a couple of weeks, see how it's done, maybe do some adjustments. And that's why like user-ownedness, be it on a financial domain or be it when you one day have your personal health advisor who is like trained on your needs, your data, is such a different paradigm of a product. So chat will be important. I'm sure one day voice, like obviously in a financial context, graphs, right? Like it's sort of generating graphs around things it's been doing rather than those being hard-coded from the get-go.
So, but you know, alpha is only as, the whole point of alpha is kind of that other people don't have it. And so I feel like these AI agents could very well democratize it too well, and then the alpha sort of goes away over time. I'm curious if you think that this is actually true, and if not, what are some examples that, of strategies that almost won't lose alpha over time?
So today it's not true, and one day maybe it might be true, but today it's certainly not true. So we have, for instance, in Olas, these liquidity pools which are on various different chains. You'd think that they'll always be perfectly in sync because of arbitrage, and like people assume arbitrage, but it doesn't, like actually someone needs to do it. And that actually applies for a lot of like inefficiencies across DeFi. And so obviously if you're adding, let's say, an order of magnitude more users, we're adding an order of magnitudes more liquidity, and it's not automatic that all inefficiencies are immediately gone away. I think there's also a lot of like local context, like not just in DeFi, but like generally speaking, like if you think about AI adoption, like there's like local context to a lot of decision making, which some of it will go away, but I think some of it will be retained.
And also, like, alpha exists on different chains in different regards. And so
Exactly.
I think the agents aren't going to care what blockchain it's using. It's just going to go where users and liquidity are. And so, Zero, I know you're relatively multi-chain. Do you see any sort of difference between the users on the Solana implementation versus the Near implementation?
Yeah, about the multi-chain, yeah, you know, currently Near chain has the chain signatures and or chain abstractions, and we have many projects have released or want to release. So we on DataTrade also will use the chain signatures to support multi-chains. That is a user to like to use our Omni bridge to bridge your asset and by one click into the Near chains, and at the same time can create our DataTrade bot like DCA or Grid. And when the user clicks close, and the asset will return back to the origin.
So you're saying I will be able to DCA out of my Bitcoin position using one of your agents?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, David, I know you have a couple different multi-chain implementations. Do you see any sort of different user behavior, or where the liquidity is or alpha is across these different chains?
Yeah, I mean, we're still relatively speaking at the beginning of this journey, but Olas is a cross-chain protocol. We're on 8 EVM chains, Solana, and we're coming to Near. And it's super exciting to be able to, for instance, have agents like have native access to Bitcoin for DeFi. I think, again, like I would be careful to project too far with this sort of all the alpha will go away. I just want to come quickly back to this point. It's also tied to liquidity. So if you, for instance, take the prediction markets product, we have like end users put up, like fund their agent to trade on their behalf. And so they provided that liquidity, and then that generates these new markets. I could very much foresee a world where we have entire like markets that humans don't even look at, maybe not even know about, where agents trade with each other, creating entirely new financial perimeters, and like
I mean, DeFi agents
interact with each other.
Trading agents aren't new. Like hedge funds have
They're
been
not new, no.
building an ML forever.
But I think the generative part of it is not really there. I mean, occasionally you can, have people hard code scripts to kind of deploy new kind of things and have like bots do that. But in the sense that we really have like almost like entire virtual worlds, which maybe for months humans don't even know about, but agents are actually leveraging. I think that's a real possibility. I mean, it will happen.
They're not new, but I think what we are yet to see is how they will leverage the potential of interoperability and composability of DeFi, because regardless of how smart or fast an agent in TradFi can be, it is still operating in a highly siloed environment. It's technically silos, not to mention like legal barriers, etc., which prevent the driving actors behind an agent from doing something because of like constraints, etc. In DeFi, we don't have that. So, which again reinforces this thesis that this is just a perfect environment for them to roam. I very much agree with David here. I think these fears that alpha will be gone we're very far away from that.
There's always enough alpha. It exists.
Yes, there's enough alpha, and I think once it becomes easier and easier over time, and I think with all those technologies it will happen to include, agents toolings into your portfolio management. The amount of opportunities that will come out with that will dwarf your anxiety over losing like a bit of alpha here and there. So we are really at the beginning of the journey, and agents will be the vehicles that will carry that. So it's an extremely exciting time.
So I'm really thinking about like, what does it actually look like, or what is it going to take for users to actually get these agents in their hands? And I do think that wallets are the sort of interface of crypto, and I think that all wallets will have some sort of like LLM tab or chat function where you're going to be able to call all these agents, interact, and discover. But my concern is around the security of these agents maybe calling contracts that haven't been audited yet, or there needs to be some level of guardrailing. And so how do you think agents, but on the flip side, agents can also provide an amazing opportunity to get users to better understand risk. So I guess, where do you see this sort of like intersection of agents providing users a better understanding of risk and also like giving them access to things that they didn't know before?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I jump.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think crucially, like, humans don't have the capacity to do even more of that, right? So if you're now talking about adding agents to the mix, if you then also assume that the human now has to also like educate themselves about what all the agents do, it's not feasible, because the agent is even faster than what you would have done yourself in DeFi. And like, generally speaking, DeFi today speaks to a teeny total addressable market, whereas what we want to do with the agent basically should speak to everyone. So I think there's this huge need for agents to take on these roles as well, right? For agents to be risk managing agents, for agents to provide signal to other agents, and that's sort of really at the core of how we think about it with multi-agent systems and Olas.
That makes sense.
I would add to that in case an agent is managing something more than your own money, and it's responsible for something more than yourself, there is a perfectly feasible concept that we can apply here, and that's just underwriting an agent. Simple as that. Staking against an agent. So put your money where your mouth is, or you put your money where your agent is. So
it's a great note to end on. Put your money where your agent is. We have about 10 seconds left. Is there anything else you guys want to add? No? No. Great. Well, thank you for joining. Yeah, check out their websites. They're all on Twitter, and have a beautiful day. Thank you.